Hey guys, what's up? It's me, the Media Raptor, and welcome back to another episode of Reaction and Review with the Media Raptor. So guys, tonight we're going to continue the countdown to episode 125. That just feels weird saying that. The fact that I made it past 100 is weird enough, but the fact that I'm almost at 125, I'm just happy about it. So we're going to take a look at an animated movie from 1986. That movie is Transformers, the movie. Hang on. Yeah. Now, you might be wondering, wait a minute, you're going to look at the Michael Bay movie? No. I'm looking at the original animated 1986 Transformers movie based off the very popular animated 80s Transformers series. Now I could go into a whole big exposition about how I watched a few episodes here and there and I kind of know the characters, but I'm just going to sum it up like this. I've seen maybe 10 episodes, and those all came, 5 of them were on TV, 3 of them were other places. I don't totally remember where. They could have been on TV for all I know. And did I say 3 or 4? Because I meant to say 3. Whatever. The final 2 I watched were actually added as a bonus feature on the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen PlayStation 3 game. Yeah. So I haven't seen a lot of the 1980s Transformers show. I have seen all the movies, the Michael Bay ones. They're okay. 2 is actually surprisingly good. 3 isn't that bad. It had a lot of potential, but it had a lot of wasted ideas. Number 1 is probably the worst, and number 4 is just too long. But it does have enough good stuff to try and balance it out. The one Transformers show I know inside and out is Transformers the Animated Series. I'm not talking about Prime or the new one that's going on. I'm talking about this one. Yeah, that one. I remember watching that show when I was a kid, and I loved it then. It's still fun now. But I've heard a lot of good things about this movie, and before anyone goes and asks, yes, I know. Optimus Prime dies. How do I know? Every time anybody ever talks about this movie, they always mention the fact that Optimus Prime dies. My question is, will I feel anything? Because I like him as a character, but at the same time, I don't know this version of him. Still, I'm expecting this movie to be pretty good, considering the fan base that this show has. And it kind of has to be better than the Michael Bay movies. But the only way I'm going to find out is if I kick back, relax, and check out Transformers, the movie. So this should go without saying that often when I jump into a movie and I only say something maybe 10 seconds in, it's not a good thing. I do have something good to say. This animation is pretty good. Not just by 80s standards, but, well, okay, it's nothing special by today's standards, but it's got this really unique look to it. And I'm really digging it, and I'm only like 30 seconds in. Okay, you know what, you guys? Can you guys hear this? Let me just crank this up. So I love the original Transformers theme. This is awesome. Hey, Leonard Nimoy's in this. This is gonna be good. But I love this intro. Just this theme is just really rocking, and I'm digging it. And we're only like 3 minutes into the movie, but I'm already loving this movie so far. Okay, you know what, you guys? For a movie based off a show I have never seen, or at least seen very little of, not enough to claim I'm a fan or not, or at least a, fair, you know what I mean. I'm really entertained by this movie. It's fun, it's action-packed, the soundtrack is amazing. Ooh, that kind of looked a little bit brutal. And genuinely, I'm curious as to what's going to happen next. Because right now, we have an entire city transforming. That is cool. That and the soundtrack that is literally right out of the 80s. Okay, there's a Decepticon called Astro Train, which turns into a flying space train. That is the coolest thing I have seen in this movie, and the coolest thing to come out of this franchise yet. Not gonna lie, if I was a Transformer, that's what I would want to transform into. That or good old-fashioned chopper. So Prime just died. That sucked. Like, that really sucked. Okay, this is an actual question I have. How do Transformers die if they just go into space? It doesn't really make a lot of sense, because they're robots, it's not like they need to breathe. I know they need energon to live, but I could guess maybe they could die in space if they didn't get energon for a long time. Okay, you guys. Every single scene with Galvatron, this character gets cooler and cooler. Part of that has to do with how awesome that Leonard Nimoy is playing him, and part of it has to do with him just being an awesome character. Just thought I'd let you guys know that. I'm pretty sure Weird Al just showed up in this movie. Like, I swear, the song they're currently playing, the guy singing it is Weird Al. It sounds exactly like him. That's kinda awesome. Okay, this is kind of a plot hole I just found. Might be one of the only ones in this movie though, so I'll give it that. Kind of a spoiler here, but I don't feel like it's too that bad. Ultra Magnus died, and he was just put back together and came back to life. If that's how it works, why couldn't they bring back Optimus Prime? I just feel like asking. It's kind of bugging me now that I think about it. Okay, you guys, that was Transformers the movie, and this song is awesome. And Frank Welker voiced, let's see, 6 people in this movie. I just want to let this play for a minute. Okay, that's enough. I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, that was Transformers, the movie. What did I think? Good movie. I enjoyed it. Not a perfect movie. Not, the best animated movie I've ever seen. But certainly a good movie nonetheless. A very good movie. So, I think what makes this movie probably the best aspect of this movie, and also the movie's biggest flaw, is the writing. See, the big reason why... okay, let me retry that. One of the few flaws I have with this movie is it doesn't really feel like a movie. It feels like I just binged watched 4 episodes that was a 4-parter of the Transformers cartoon. Because of that, it doesn't exactly feel like a movie. It feels a lot more like, 4 episodes of the TV show. The whole thing is pretty formulaic. I could kind of tell what was going to happen before it did. I could easily tell, okay, this guy is going to become Rodimus Prime. This guy is going to be the bad guy. It's going to end this way. And there aren't a whole lot of twists and turns that really catch you off guard or even really surprise you that much. But that's not a bad thing. First off, this is a movie for kids. And because of that, I wasn't expecting huge, deep, poetic, thought-provoking storylines. What I was hoping for was something good. And frankly, I got something really good. The story is a pretty serviceable story, you know. We got the Autobots and Decepticons who are doing the usual back and forth good versus evil sort of thing, and then boom, Unicron shows up and starts eating whole planets. Yeah. Where did he come from? I don't know. Did they bother to tell us? Nope. In fact, there are a lot of things I've always wondered about Transformers that they never really bothered to explain in this movie or anywhere else. Who made them? How are they sentient? How do they reproduce? If you kill one, can you rebuild it like they did in this movie? Again, though, that's kind of weird, because Optimus Prime just got shot a few times and then he died. Ultra Magnus got literally blown to pieces and then put back together, and he survived, but for some reason Optimus didn't. That too. If you go into this movie expecting it all to be about Optimus Prime and Bumblebee like the Michael Bay movies, don't expect that. They have barely any screen time. Again, not a problem, but I feel like mentioning it. All the characters were likable. They all had a pretty distinct and unique personality, and I could tell which one was which. However, I think part of another problem with this movie is there are a ton of characters. There are so many that not all of them get enough character development or screen time, because this movie only runs 85 minutes. However, the characters who do deserve it definitely get the most amount of screen time. Like people like Megatron, when he becomes Galvatron, the Dinobots, they all get the right amount of screen time to make them memorable, but not scene stealers. This movie does kind of tend to drag a few times, but most of that is pretty quick at least, and if you're a kid, you're not going to notice it as much as I did. Let's see. One thing I do want to talk about is one of my favorite PS3 games was Transformers War for Cybertron and the sequel Fall of Cybertron. I had no idea how many scenes in Fall of Cybertron were taken directly from this movie. There are scenes, lines, conversations that are just taken straight from this movie. They're kind of changed for the settings and for the gameplay of the game, and I kind of wish they would re-release it for PS4 because that was an awesome game. But it's really cool actually now, because at the time, I kind of thought it was just clever writing, but now I realize, no, they're referencing the movie that started it all, or at least, well, that the movie didn't start the franchise. You know what I mean. I'm sorry, I'm kind of off today. Anyhow, man, I feel like I'm really missing something I wanted to talk about. Oh, right. So all the characters are really unique. They all got good personalities. I really liked the Dinobots. Best character, though, was Galvatron. For those of you who don't know, Galvatron is Megatron after he gets killed and then rebuilt by Unicron. Galvatron he's a no-nonsense Megatron. Well, Megatron was like, yeah, we're gonna destroy the Autobots. He at least would occasionally say, like, you're an idiot, Starscream, or stuff like that. With Galvatron, he's like, look, we're just gonna kill everyone and do what we say, or we'll kill you. And part of that has to do with the acting. We have an amazing cast here. We got, let's see, Eric Idle, Judd Nelson, Leonard Nimoy, Robert Stick, Lion Stranville, Orson Welles, Peter Cullen, Frank Welker. Big name actors, and all of them knock it out of the park, one after the other. Any bad acting there was, or any acting I didn't like, often had to do with the robotic distortion. Because since they're all robots, they kind of messed around a lot with trying to make them sound like robots, for some characters, but not all. So, yeah, there are some characters who are, like, incredibly odd sounding, but that's not the actors, it's the sound design. Animation? I touched on it at the beginning. The animation has a really unique style. It's very much an 80s cartoon. It's got that feel, the way things move, but that does also lead into yet another problem. The animation in a few scenes is very choppy. and very jumpy, and I'm willing to kind of let it slide because movie from the 80s, based off a toy line, based off a cartoon that didn't have the best animation. So I'm kind of willing to let that one slide. But at the same time, I can't just completely ignore it. I do feel like mentioning the animation can be a little jarring and a little bit, can kind of take you out of the movie a little bit, but it doesn't take very long for you to get right back into the movie and keep going. Let's see. Music, I touched on it more than once, I know I did. The music in this movie is awesome. There's another problem, though, with the movie, is sometimes they tend to play songs at very odd times. A lot of this movie is 80s rock and 80s pop, I guess? I'm not really sure what to call it. But it often plays, instead of an actual score, they tend to play these songs. And a few of them don't really work. Well, no, all the songs are fine. I love them. I'd love to download them if the soundtrack's on iTunes. It's more where they play them isn't the best timing, if you know what I mean. Like, we have scenes with characters dying and all that, and then we have scenes with, like, and then the music's like, yeah, you got the power. And I'm like, you know, people are dying right now. You may want to, I don't know, be a bit more somber, show a little respect. Then again, that's just me. And what do I know? I'm just a film critic. I don't make movies, I judge them. I gotta remember that one. That one's good. Sound mix, I talked about the voice distortion, how some characters are voice distorted and it sounds a little odd. Another thing is, this is a Blu-ray. The audio is kind of quiet in some scenes. It's kind of surprising. Now, granted, I'm not going to blame Shout Factory for that. See, the thing is, this movie's 30 years old. They're taking what they can do with a 30-year-old movie and doing the very best they can. And what they couldn't do was awesome. But there are still some lines that are kind of quiet, especially compared to the rest of the dialogue and to the rest of the movie. So when it comes down to it, can I recommend Transformers the Movie? Oh wow, it's actually called The Transformers the Movie. They should have just called Transformers Movie, the Transformers Movie then. Anyhow, can I recommend this movie? Yes. 3 Raptor Claws out of 4. Solid movie, fun movie, good way to kill 80 minutes. I enjoyed it. I probably will pick it up on Blu-ray when I get the cash and I have a chance. And I do want to go actually watch some of the old Transformers cartoon. If you're a fan of Transformers and you haven't seen this movie, check it out. It's definitely worth your time. If you're new to Transformers, I'd watch a couple episodes of the show first, because then I think a few more things will just make that much more sense, and you'll get that much more enjoyment out of it. I can still recommend the movie. It's a great film. I thoroughly enjoyed it, a little bit more than I thought I would. And, yeah. So you know what, you guys? We're still on our way to episode 125, and until next time, this is the Media Raptor saying keep cool, and I'll see you guys around. Later.